All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 8 of Comic Relief, the live weekly talk show for all things comics, combat, and anything else you want to make it, or you...
What?
Fuck that. I fucked that up.
Wow.
But we're gonna... Cat got my tongue there. But anyway, anything else that makes you want to get down and nerdy. We are your hosts. I'm...
Jagger.
Great intro tonight. It's a great intro tonight. I'm just
on another level.
I will admit I'm like half asleep. But we're gonna keep it rolling. We're gonna keep it rolling because guess what? It's live and uneditable. Well, actually, I can technically edit it after the YouTube stream, but I'm not going to. I'm just gonna leave it like that. But anyway, welcome. How's it going? Tonight we're going to be giving our review on the new Mortal Kombat movie that is now available in theaters and HBO Max, which is where I watched it. And then our breakdown of season 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
So good.
Or should I say, actually, let me go ahead and get the spoiler alert out of the way first, because I shall call it by its true name now, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Which honestly, I feel like it would have been even cooler if we had some kind of story arc moment where instead of being the Winter Soldier, he was White Wolf moving forward.
But I mean, you can only have one big character for
yeah. Yeah, that's fair. But we'll get to that in a second. First, some news that came out within the past week. Do you want to go ahead and take that?
Yeah, give me a second to pull up my notes. I'm unprepared right now.
Oh, I got you. I can start off with a couple of them.
Yeah, go ahead and start off with them.
All right, so first off, I would like to mention that so set images for Sonic 2 came out, which confirmed Knuckles will be joining the cast. If anyone has seen Sonic the Hedgehog, there was a little teaser at the end with Tails. So we knew that we were going to get Tails at some point. But Knuckles is pretty cool because number one, Knuckles was my favorite growing up. Two, it was shown in like the first movie that the echidnas, or I don't know how you properly pronounce his creature, but they were like, his whole species was like after Sonic, so I'm kind of interested as to how they'll spin that kind of storyline. The second one was so images of Tatiana Maslany on the set of She-Hulk. That was pretty cool. So we're starting to see more of these other shows come to light. You want to take the rest?
Yeah. Okay. We got firm confirmation that Russell Crowe will be playing Zeus in Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm excited about because Russell Crowe is top tier actor in my book.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Elizabeth Olsen has gone on record stating that the Multiverse of Madness Doctor Strange 2 movie is very much like a horror show.
I'm excited for that.
Kind of like American Horror Story, where it's like horror-esque, but not entirely horror all the time. And that makes me very excited.
Yeah, because I think she even said it was, quote, bonkers.
Yeah.
So I really want to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think the biggest news recently is the Sony Disney deal. They finally cut a deal to bring Spider-Man and other Sony properties to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So they're firmly confirming that all the Spider-Man and Sony stuff is in this Disneyverse.
Yeah,
so
which leads me to
see those.
That leads me to believe that they are doing what I've been asking for from the very beginning when it came to this whole like integrated universe of characters where studios should work together and create massive universes. Like why couldn't, at the beginning of it, they were very separated with Marvel, or Disney Marvel after the acquisition after Iron Man 2, Sony Marvel, and then Fox Marvel. I'm like, why can't all three of them just like work in unison and create this intermingled multiverse of madness? Which technically that could be hinting at something right there, because we've already stated that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, previous Spider-Man might be appearing in No Way Home, so that might be alluding to the whole idea there.
Of the multiverse. They're definitely exploring the multiverse a lot more in this next phase of Marvel films, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Jeremy Renner took to social media. He was talking about filming his last scene for the Hawkeye series.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that means that he's done playing Hawkeye after the series or what.
He did mention this isn't goodbye, this is see you soon. So
okay.
I can only assume.
I'm sure he'll come back in something later.
Yeah.
We did get some updates on the next Marvel show after Loki, the What If series, which is animated. Different story topics that we're going to be getting. It's going to be episodic instead of like an overarching story like the last few shows are, which is what the What If comics were. We're getting Doctor Strange versus Evil Doctor Strange, Zombie Captain America, Tony Stark and Sakaar, Captain Carter and Steve Rogers Iron Man, which is going to be great. I'm excited for that one. T'Challa Star-Lord, which is the last performance by Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa. Party Thor, which it has to be.
I'm confused about that one, to be honest.
I think it's supposed to be what would happen if Thor didn't go on the Endgame expedition. He just kind of stayed sad Party Thor.
Okay.
We're getting Gamora the Mad Titan, which Gamora takes the place of Thanos, and that's going to be great. And the one that I'm the most excited about is Ultron collecting the Infinity Stones.
I really want to see that.
Because we're finally getting some more performance from Ultron, and I hope James Spader is still the voice of Ultron in this one.
He should be. I believe they announced that every single like key character from the original MCU is returning to voice their characters in Marvel's What If.
Good. That's good.
So
some of the rumored storylines that we're possibly getting is Steve Rogers Spider-Man, Peter Parker Hawkeye, and Old Man Strange. Those are just rumors, so we're not 100% certain that those are going to be actual topics right now. But if they are, they seem to be interesting. I think the ones that they've already confirmed will probably be where they wrap things up. It's a good slate of stories, and some of them are actually from the What If comic series, like Captain Carter and Steve Rogers Iron Man.
Yeah. That I'm excited for.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting show. It's kind of an interesting take on Marvel, and it'll be fun. Other news away from comics is we're getting a Knights of the Old Republic remake.
Yeah, that was confirmed.
It'll be really cool. It's a confirmed remake. They haven't said what engine they're going to run it on, but there's rumors that it's going to be on the same engine that Crisis was taken to.
That would be super dope.
That would be dope. Very, very CPU heavy, for sure.
I'm excited. I can't wait. Knights of the Old Republic was my favorite game growing up.
Knights of the Old Republic was great. That both 1 and 2 were amazing.
Let's see. I'm going through. So I get a lot of my new stuff through like Instagram because I just like hit like little save button. So I'm trying to see if there's any other news going around. Let's see. Warner Brothers. There's a rumor saying that Warner Brothers wants Ben Affleck's Batman to die in the Flash movie.
Really?
Yeah. That was. I think I saved that 2 days ago, or yesterday, or maybe earlier today.
I did see something this morning saying that AT&T wants DC Comics to die. They kind of want to pull the plug on it and not financially back it anymore.
Yeah.
So
let's see. Other news. This isn't necessarily like new news, but it was something that came up today that I thought was kind of interesting. Was that the Quidditch scene in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets was wrongly scored with music from Star Wars Attack of the Clones. This is due to a mix-up with the composer John Williams, who was working on both scores at the same time.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then a hilarious image. I'm just gonna send it to you. If I can. Oh no, it's from Hardcore Comedy. You're not following them, but basically it's the original Liu Kang and Chris Farley. It says I think I downloaded the wrong Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
I love it. But speaking of Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat the movie is now here.
Yeah, it's here.
What do you say it like that? It's here. It's fucking here. Get over here. No, it's already here.
I know. Yep.
What's the matter with you? You're not excited.
I didn't like it.
Differing opinions. Okay. All right.
I didn't.
So okay. I will say this. It wasn't perfect. I will give it that.
I went into the movie with very low expectations. They met the expectations that I had for it. Mm-hmm. But I'm also used to the original Mortal Kombat movie, so expectations were very low.
So were you basing it off of the original, like, 2 movies, like Mortal Kombat and Mortal Kombat Annihilation, or were you basing it off of? So were you basing it off of the original lore?
I was basing it off of the original lore, which they did a good bit to keep to that lore. Mm-hmm. And they've set themselves up very well for a Mortal Kombat series of movies. So I give them props on that.
Which they've already stated that. Joe Taslim said he was signed for like 4 movies in total, even though it was said before the movie released they were approaching this like a trilogy. So I'm confused as to what's what.
Yeah.
Are they doing 3 movies or 4?
Well, from what I understand, is there's supposed to be 3 main movies and a sub movie, so like a spin-off kind of deal.
Okay. Which I would really love that to be like a Sub-Zero Scorpion spin-off.
Yeah, like a little past history between Bihan and Hanzo Hasashi.
Yeah,
that'd be good. But I don't know.
Well, here, how about this? Let's break it down, pros and cons, before we get into, because I mean, this is essentially more of a review, not necessarily a breakdown. Right. So go ahead. Let's just do pros and cons. What were your pros?
I liked a lot of the portrayals of the different characters. Like Kano, amazing.
Oh, he was easily the best part.
He was the highlight of the movie for me, and it's part of my con because he shouldn't have been.
True.
But I think, and honestly, when I think Mortal Kombat, I think Liu Kang, Kung Lao, they're doing their thing for Raiden, and we're going to the tournament because of Shao Kahn. Like that's the story for me. Like in a nutshell. Okay. I feel like they added the Cole character, for no reason. They didn't need him. He didn't need to be there. The only reason that he was there was to kind of connect Scorpion, and they could have done that a million other different ways. They have so many other games. Yeah, they have games. They have short movies. They have all this other stuff that they could have pulled from. So much lore and backstory of how Scorpion comes back. Like he can literally just show up because he's in hell. Like that's what he does.
That is fair. That is fair.
Originally, when he came back from the dead, there was no explanation. He was just like, "Yeah, F you, I'm back. Like, hey, get over here." That's where it came from. And Sub-Zero was just taken by surprise, and that was their original fight, Scorpion versus Sub-Zero, and that's how Bihan ends up getting murdered.
And then turning into Noob Saibot later. Do you think they're gonna keep that name?
Yes, I think they will.
Okay, because I feel like a lot of people, when they went into watching this, there were some elements of kind of like keeping it grounded in a sense, especially with like Cole's character and his family and his whole arc. Like it felt much more grounded on that aspect. But then you have moments where you're in Outworld and even Shang Tsung, calls Bihan by his name, Bihan, and he's like, "No, I am Sub-Zero," and I was like, that's kind of cheesy. That's kind of, but I like played into it. I played into it because this is a fantastical thing.
Yeah, but that was another thing that I didn't like. They tried way too hard to throw the Easter egg references for the game in your face, like Kung Lao's thing, where he does the hat saw in the ground, and he rides the demon into it, saws it in half, flicks the blood off the blade, and says "Flawless victory."
I actually really loved it. I loved it
so hard from that scene. I paused it and I was like, "Oh God, why did they do that?"
I loved it.
It made me think back to when they did that kind of shit in the original film, and I hated it then, and I still don't like it now. I think it was gratuitous. It was.
But see, I think that's where I enjoy it so much, because when I look at Mortal Kombat, I think of, because like the whole idea behind Mortal Kombat in the beginning was like this very gruesome, just, you know, off the wall fucking fighter game, and just like you could literally just basically do anything and all this other shit, and just like all over the place. And so like when I think of it as a movie, I actually didn't like the parts that were more grounded. Like I loved where it kind of didn't take itself too seriously, and it played into the Easter eggs, and it played into like, you know, this is a movie based off of a video game kind of deal.
Yeah,
which is weird. Which is weird me saying out loud, because I also still loved like the first 7 minutes that when they released that on IGN, and watching it again, I still loved it. That establishing that story between Hanzo and Bihan. And just how like heartbreaking it was.
Yeah, so my big complaint about that aspect of things is that they should have picked it. It feels like they tried really hard to strike a balance between paying homage to the games and keeping things rounded. But if you're gonna pay homage to a game series that prides itself on being so over the top that it has to always have a mature rating, and some of the games you can't even get in America anymore, you kind of have to throw the grounded book out the window. Like, if they were gonna give us the campy shit that they gave us, like the brutalities and the actual,
I was actually wondering to see if they're gonna have any friendships in there, but you know.
Right, there were no friendships, there were no mercies. Like, but I mean, if they were gonna lean into that aspect of it, I want them to go full ham and just give me, here's the game in a movie.
Okay, so almost like if let's say it was done in the mindset of like Deadpool.
Yeah,
I feel like that would work.
It would have worked for Mortal Kombat. It wouldn't work for most other fighting games, but for Mortal Kombat and for the fans of Mortal Kombat, that's what they would have loved. And that's where it lost me, is it tried too hard to stay too grounded to try and reach other people.
Right.
When they knew damn well that they weren't making this film for other people. They were making it for the people who were sneaking playing Mortal Kombat from their parents and went to the arcade and spent rolls of quarters playing Mortal Kombat 2. Like, that's who
you sound like you speak from experience.
Oh, I do. I very much speak from experience. I've been playing Mortal Kombat since I was like 6. I don't know. It's just, is it an enjoyable movie? Absolutely. Were the fight scenes amazing? Yes, they were authentic. They were great. They were brutal. A lot of the character representation I love. Like, I love the acting choices for Kung Lao, Kano, Sonya Blade, even Jax, the guy who played Jax.
Oh yeah,
did a phenomenal job. I didn't like the portrayal of Raiden. I think they underutilized him, and they kind of just
I feel like
a side character.
Yeah, he was definitely a side character, as well as Shang Tsung. I'll just okay. I'm just gonna stop trying to pronounce it properly. Shang Tsung. Shang Tsung.
Yeah, Shang Tsung has always been a side character anyway, though. But they kind of tried to elevate him up a little bit by not including Shao Kahn, which I respect. I respect that they did not include Shao Kahn because there was no tournament in this one. So having the hints that Shao Kahn and Kotal Kahn, they all exist in like the little paintings and things that they show. I give them a lot of credit for that, for giving us the look that, okay, the tournament is a thing, we're getting there. This is like the lead up, this is the story building, this is the world building. The second movie is going to be, here's Shao Kahn, here's Kintaro, here's Baraka, a bunch of other characters that we wanted to see.
Didn't they show Baraka in one of those like paintings?
They showed Baraka in one of the paintings, yeah. But it could have just been a random target in general. It may not have been Baraka himself. Okay. Because all the targets are the same.
Who's the Native American guy? I saw a picture of him too.
Nightwolf. He was in there.
Nightwolf, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
They say he's going to be in the next film as well.
Yeah.
So we know we're getting a second film, and we know the second film is going to be on Outworld in the Mortal Kombat tournament, which I'm very curious as to how they're going to handle that while trying to keep it grounded. They kind of almost have to throw the book out in the second film if they want it to be successful.
Yeah, I mean, and if that's the case, I feel like I'm really hoping that they have a bigger budget next time around, because in the grand scheme of things, this did do pretty successfully. It was like what, the second best movie to come out in theaters since COVID or something like that. Like it shot just under Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, just
and
under.
then right after that is Demon Slayer.
Yeah, well, no, Demon Slayer topped that. They topped them
Oh,
both.
did it?
Yeah, it's now
internationally or domestic?
Domestic. Demon Slayer Mugen Train just became the highest grossing anime film of all time. It knocked Miyazaki's Spirited Away.
Wow, that's insane.
They even totaled in all the re-releases of Spirited Away, like all the times that it's come back to theaters. They totaled it all up, and in one weekend it toppled it.
Jesus, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get into Demon Slayer, which sucks because I literally just started Jujutsu Kaisen first.
Oh, they're both so good.
Yeah, I've also been reading Jujutsu Kaisen, but anyway, but the reason I say I hope that they have a better budget this next time around is some of the CGI wasn't the best, in my opinion.
No, and the producers even came out and said, like, some of the fight sequences, like the one at Raiden's Temple, they were supposed to be one continuous shot.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
chopped up a lot, like really heavily on the cutting room floor, and it kind of made it feel really rushed. It felt like they were just trying to skip through things so they could get to the dialogue and kind of expand these characters a little bit more. But it's like these are characters we already know. There's not much development you need to know about them, unless you're gonna go into their backstories and you have the time for that. Just don't.
Yeah, that's what makes me feel like it might have been better if they decided to do like an HBO Max series.
Yeah, I think a series would have been way better, because the storylines that you can do for Mortal Kombat, you have the potential for so many seasons.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you could basically take the major storyline from each game and make it a season.
So, wild idea. What if so this is the movie, right? They go ahead and they put out this movie. What if they changed up their whole entire business plan with this and decide, you know what, we're not doing movies anymore, we're just gonna do a series, and so this is basically like the pilot episode?
I'd be down.
How would you feel about that? Okay.
I would be 100% down for that, because then they'd have the time to be able to sit there and fix the things that they need to fix.
Yeah, because I feel like the character development was lacking. There were good moments of character development for some of the characters, but there's so many characters throughout this movie where it's almost impossible to really flesh out all of them.
Yeah.
Except for, like a couple of like blink and you'll miss it lines. With like Kung Lao and stuff like that. Like although it was a little bit weird how at first I think Liu Kang said cousin or something like that. He referred to him as cousin, and then later on he mentions like he was like a brother or something like that. It was really weird. It didn't seem cohesive on that aspect. But
it seems like they were getting their stories mixed up, because they talked about how he called him cousin, and then he said
he was like when he was like fixing up.
They found me here, like, or they.
Yeah, he was like fixing up Cole and said like something about how like he was like lonely or whatever, or like, and then they found him, took him in, blah blah blah. It's like it's really weird.
They couldn't spend enough time on one character. They kind of just bounced around between all of them, and you got a little bit from each one, and it was like, okay,
yeah.
Where's the hook? What character should I really like? And I ended up just liking the characters that I remember from the games.
Yeah.
Like I was waiting for Scorpion to come in and say, "Get over here," and we got that. It was great.
Yeah.
I kind of clapped a little bit at that, but even still, it felt like a lot of the characters felt really, really flat, and we got way more development in like an 8-bit game back in the day.
I understand where you're coming from with Cole, but at the same time, I kind of like the idea of Cole.
I don't. I feel like it muddled the mixture way too much. I think trying to add in a new character while trying to flesh out other characters that need to be fleshed out again, it was too much.
I just like his abilities. But speaking of the abilities, that I have a problem with in itself.
Oh, the Arcana.
The Arcana, yeah. Like I get it as a plot device for some of the characters. I could understand some of them and how that explains it. But like someone like Jax and Sonya and Kano, that
I had a big issue with Kano's because Kano was supposed to get that after Goro is supposed to crush half of his face and he's supposed to get a cybernetic implant. That's what the laser's from. It's not magic. I mean, I'm glad they gave him his laser eye, but he's supposed to get his face messed up and get cybernetic implants to do that. That's what he does because he's a black market arms dealer.
Yeah.
So I don't know, them trying to change it and make it one cohesive thing without having to explain a bunch of other backstories. Or just like
that felt really lazy to me.
It was very lazy, and it's gonna set them up for failure in the next one because now, I mean, it kind of sets them up for a little bit of success because they don't have to explain how all these people have these powers. Like Jake can come in and fling some staff and do some glowing green shit, and they're like, oh yeah, that's Arcana, cool.
Yeah.
And it's lazy.
Yeah.
You don't really need to explain where these powers come from. You didn't have to give us the Arcana. You could just say they're champions of Earth. They're strong. Deal with it.
Yeah, they just happen to have abilities. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times I think movie makers they are at a weird moment in their career to where, how are we going to approach this? Are there elements of it being very grounded? But there's also elements of fantasy. How do we merge the two? And sometimes I feel like they fail to remember that moviegoers are still, a bit smart, where we can simply just say to ourselves, it's just a fucking movie. Just take it for what it is. I mean, it's like they're not giving us enough credit.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to spoon feed this shit to us, and I 100% attribute it to that they had to create this plot device of the Arcana specifically for Cole. It's like they introduced Cole, and they're like, he's a fighter, but he's not very good. He used to be good, but not anymore. But he's a champion of Earth. He's a descendant of Scorpion. Like, how do we explain why he's so bad? And then he needs to suddenly be better? Like, how do we do that? So and it felt like
I'm gonna go back on my statement a little bit. So I like the idea of Cole, but for like a standalone film, like separate from Mortal Kombat entirely. Like just the idea of this guy named Cole, and like just like a separate like superhero movie or something like that.
Yeah. Like something in the Mortal Kombat universe, but not in the Mortal Kombat storyline.
Yeah, something like the Sub-Zero Nintendo 64 game or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, all in all, I feel like this is definitely like one of those enjoyable movies. Like if you've played the game, like me who played it casually at one point a long time ago, like, and you understand some of the references. It's an enjoyable movie to just sit down, put it on background while you're, I don't know, marinating some chicken for dinner or some shit.
Is that what they call it nowadays?
Hey baby, come here, let me marinate your chicken.
I don't know. I kind of lump it into the category of like, I wouldn't say good video game movies. I would say decent video game movies. Like, it goes into the same category as like the first 3 Resident Evil films for me.
Really?
Would I still occasionally break them out and watch them? Yeah. Do I admit that
okay,
they're in the films? Yeah. Are they fun? Yeah. Are they good movies? Hell no. Mother Wes Anderson messed that series up, and I'm going to be doing a thing on that here soon. But
which we also have another Resident Evil movie coming out apparently.
Right. It's a reboot.
Yeah.
On Netflix, so I'm excited. It actually goes to the actual game storyline. Like, to get Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine, and their characters are actually going to be developed. And
it's funny. It was funny because I saw the cast listing for that, and I saw Robbie Amell on there,
Yep.
And I was like, and they didn't announce who they were playing, but when I saw Robbie Amell, I'm like, Chris Redfield, and then they finally announced it. He's Chris. I'm like, yes, fuck yeah.
Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield is going to be a great casting. And
Oh yeah.
The cast that they have will.
Oh yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I love that. But so like out of like a score out of 10 for Mortal Kombat, what would you give it? I'll say mine now. I'm gonna give it a 7.
See, I was at like a 6.5.
Okay.
For me, because like I said, I still enjoyed it. It's not one of those things where I'm like gonna rewatch it like 4 times in the next week. To be like, I'm bored. What should I watch? You know what? I could watch Mortal Kombat. Or a new Mortal Kombat game's coming out, or the next movie's gonna come out, so I'll rewatch the film and kind of see what I missed.
Yeah.
Kind of deal. But it's not one of those
Also,
things like, oh, let's watch Mortal Kombat. It's amazing.
Also, how much do you want to bet that they're gonna add Cole as a downloadable character?
It wouldn't surprise me. He's either gonna be in the next game, or he's gonna be a DLC character in Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah. Which, are they working on a new game? I feel like
supposedly Ed Boon has talked and said that he's not going to say exactly what he's working on. He said he's got some ideas and projects floating around. There's a possibility of Injustice 3. There's a possibility of a Marvel fighting game in the style of Injustice. There's possibly another DLC for Mortal Kombat 11 because they don't want to create a whole new game roster for a game that's still relevant.
Yeah, because I feel like Mortal Kombat 11 is like up there with like Grand Theft Auto 5, you know?
Yeah, it's one of those
like
things
there's still a huge play base.
Well, yeah, you can still release some DLCs for it and it'll revive the player base just fine. Like if you release, because they did Mortal Kombat 11 and then Mortal Kombat 11 Afterlife, I think is what it was. Which was a DLC, a whole other storyline, a couple new characters, and they just kind of kept going. And it revived the game for a good bit, and then it's starting to die out again. I think they could probably do like the Rise of Cole as a DLC mini campaign, introduce a new character, have him go through the trials and tribulations of being a Mortal Kombat character, and voila, you have some more content.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, I also feel like that kind of begs the question, like at what point do like you keep improving upon the quality of video games? Because I mean, like the way that they are right now, I feel like you could only do so much more with how the video games look and feel. Like I feel like at a certain point it's just going to be like, all right, yeah, like, you know, this is the pinnacle of quality for the games. Like the only other thing I can think of is making it look like real life.
Yeah, I mean, like, the next thing is live action games, and then you have to have real people available 24/7 to play the game. Which
apparently there is a game like that coming out soon.
Really?
Yeah, it's I saw it on IGN posted something about it. I'll have to link that to you. But apparently, like, you can only play it starting at 10 p.m. every night, or every like Wednesday night or something like that. And they actually have actual like actors involved in it, and I don't know how it's going to operate, but yeah, it's very strange. It's also a horror game. So yeah. So but I think
that sounds like a human rights lawsuit waiting to happen.
No, this is their job. They're just actors.
They're totally paid to get haunted by monsters.
Yeah, it's like a ghost like trapped in like a movie theater or some shit like that. I don't know, but I'll have to look that up. But okay, so to wrap that up, Mortal Kombat, easily enjoyable, but fails to figure out its identity.
Whether the hype that it was surrounding it, honestly.
Yeah. Hopefully, with the success that it's seen, hopefully we get a second one and they can probably fix some of the issues.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Star Wars kind of scenario, where the second one was better.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. Well, that being said, let's move on to the actual reason we're here.
Yeah.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier season 1 came to an end. What are your thoughts? What
It was a perfect wrap up.
I feel the same way.
It had a great balance of action and story and heart. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I found myself crying through parts of the episode.
Yep, same.
Like, I was in tears on certain things, not because they were sad, but because they were true.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that here in a minute.
We'll definitely, yeah.
It's a great finale. Like,
yeah.
They didn't.
So being such a great finale, I think it's deserving of a slight breakdown. So right out the gate, we have Falcon as the new Captain America.
Oh, the suit is straight from the
It's
pages.
so good. So good.
Amazing. It's clean. It's got a couple subtle Easter egg details in there. It fits Anthony Mackie perfectly. Like,
oh yeah.
Oh my god. I've been falling over that suit for the past week.
Let's see if I can pull up some images here. No, not the link.
I just read your note about John Walker's shield.
Yeah, let's see. Let's pull this up right there. Oh, you can barely see that. But anyway, yeah. So we got the new Captain America showing up here,
yep.
And he just looks absolutely amazing. Like, this suit is just. And the way he comes in too, he like throws the shield through the window, and you see this like epic shot of him in the wings. Like, here we have it right here. Like, I was like, as soon as I saw that, I was just like, dude, already? I was not ready.
I was so hyped with it. Like, the wings look great, the suit looks great, the tech fits Sam Wilson. At least Sam Wilson they've given us in this one, because they don't give us the actual bird. They give us a new red wing drone. It's perfect. Honestly.
Now, what surprises me is the fact that there wasn't necessarily any indication of Wakanda specific tech, at least from what I saw.
So it didn't really show off the Wakandan tech. I know the drones are Shuri's design, because they fold into the wings now instead of like an actual pack. The goggles are Wakandan tech because he was able to scan certain database. Because like when he's flying after the helicopter, he's like, see if anybody can fly a jet or fly a chopper in there, and they were able to do facial scan and search records all in an instant.
Okay.
And then he could
that makes sense.
comms really quick.
Another thing I thought was pretty cool was when one of the helicopters went down, he was able to use the wings and the shield. So like the wings would like fold over, and then the shield would make up that gap. So he made like a perfect dome.
Yeah. Of
protection.
It was so
and I'm assuming that the wings are also vibranium.
Yeah. And I'm sure his suit is like that impact suit as well. I didn't really see that too much in the fights, but I'm sure it has that like impact tech similar to T'Challa's suit.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine them making a super suit without it now.
Honey, where's my super suit? Sorry, every time I hear super suit.
Sam has it.
But moving forward from that, so it was very clear to me that Carly was like past the point of no return with her plans. Absolutely. And like it even had me like thinking like, yo, Zemo was right. We need to fucking kill this bitch.
Yeah, I mean, she even says it herself. She's like, it doesn't matter if I die for this. Like, she was ready to do everything in this last showdown. Yeah,
and she was ready to literally kill anyone who got in her way.
Yep.
That was just like, no, that's not cool, dude. That's not cool. Yeah. Like truckloads of innocent people. Like, I don't care if you disagree with them. Like, fucking just talk it out, man. Like you said, and then I mean, later on after like the whole ordeal, you know, we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail. But you know, Sam even you see that Sam agrees with Carly's movement.
Yeah,
but
not the way she went about it.
Yeah, but But yeah, we also have John Walker showing up with his the great value shield. I've been hearing everyone else like they're like, oh yeah, it's a cosplay shield. I'm like, no, that's great value. He went to Walmart.
The Walmart Captain America shield. He chucks it,
Yeah.
he just kicks it, there's a dent in it like immediately. He
Yeah,
was surprised. I was like, dog, he made that out of tinfoil in a cave.
yeah. But I did like that during that whole exchange, you can see that Walker is essentially a good person at heart.
Yeah.
He was, I mean, he was a soldier first, you know,
Absolutely.
like throughout the series, but you see that his heart is still in the right place where he's pitted up against, you know, exacting revenge against Carly versus saving a truckload of people, and
Yeah.
he just rushes to help them. And
Yeah.
there's a moment where you see like he's kind of like battling that idea, like I can't let her get away, but I also can't let these people die.
Right.
So I think that sets him up for some pretty good character building there, to where I don't think U.S. Agent's going to be necessarily as much of like a douchebag like he is in the comics,
Yeah.
from what I've seen.
I think it'll be an interesting balance of the super soldier serum kind of taking control over Walker, and Walker being him.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see how that plays out, because we'll fast forward just a little bit, because he's seen talking with Val, since we've already mentioned that, you know, he is U.S. agent.
Yes.
He's seen talking with Val. Like who the fuck is she at this point?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know. Like, she works for somebody, but we don't fucking know who she is. Like, she just
I see
kinda
I see
shows up.
everyone jumping on like that Mephisto train.
Oh my God.
In a sense, where they're just calling out Madam Hydra, Madam Hydra, she's Madam Hydra. I'm like, I don't necessarily believe that.
I don't either.
Like, I swear, like, I'm probably gonna eat my words on this one
Yeah.
too. But I swear to God, if they make her Madam Hydra, I'm done with the MCU.
No, you're not. Don't lie to me.
No, I'm not, because I said that about Sharon Carter being the power broker, and lo and behold, guess what? She's the fucking power broker.
Like I said last week.
I know. You called it.
I did. I called it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I called it when we got to the Magic 4 episode. I was like, I think she's the power broker. You're like, nah, that's crazy. That's insane. It's got to be something better than that. I'm like, I hope it's something better than that. But I'm still thinking it's that. I'm not happy about it either. I didn't want to be right. As much as I love being right, I did not want to be right about this one.
But now, what do you think that means for the future? Because obviously we see that little stinger at the end,
Yeah.
where she's on the phone. What do you think that's going to lead into? Do you think that's going to lead into something like Armor Wars? Or
I think it's going to lead into Armor Wars, and I think it's going to eventually lead us into the Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers, because we already have Justin Hammer.
Mm-hmm.
We have Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Right.
We know we're getting Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie.
Mm-hmm.
We now have Zemo.
Mm-hmm.
Abomination's on the raft. And we have Thunderbolt Ross. And thanks to some semi-reliable leaks that we found on the internet, we know we almost have a full confirmation of who bought Avengers Tower. Because in Spider-Man Far From Home, we learned that Avengers Tower went up for sale and someone bought it.
Yeah. I think I thought that was in the first Spider-Man.
Is it in the first Spider-Man?
Yeah, I think it was even as early as the first Spider-Man film where they were saying that someone was buying it.
So they've been teasing it for a few movies now, and now they've started to realize that, or they've started to release that Norman Osborn bought.
That's where I thought this was going. Yeah.
Avengers Tower, the Oscorp, which would lead us into Norman Osborn as Iron Patriot, because Iron Patriot Street still exists.
Yeah.
So I think the Sharon Carter as the power broker is going to lead us into Armor Wars, which will lead us into either the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers. And honestly,
You really think they're gonna bring in Norman Osborn as the Iron Patriot first?
probably not first.
Okay.
Because they still have an entire phase to go. I don't think they're going to get into Thunderbolts and the Dark Avengers until after Multiverse of Madness, which is the penultimate film in this phase of the MCU. I think what they'll do is they'll introduce Norman Osborn in No Way Home. They'll either make him the Green Goblin, or they'll make him some sort of a villain. They may not outwardly make him the Green Goblin, because there's talks that he might be the actual villain in this one as the Green Goblin. It's just rumors, though, and that he's assembling. Him and his experiments at Oscorp have resulted in bringing in other villains from other universes, which brings in Doc Ock and Electro from the other
Sinister
movies.
Six.
And basically, it's a Sinister Six deal right out the gate.
Ooh, yeah.
And then by the end of it, Norman Osborn basically is a weak and enfeebled Green Goblin, which leads him to planning and teaming up with Sharon Carter as the Power Broker. That's my
interesting
take on the whole thing. It'd be a neat way to go.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, but I'm still holding that I don't know who's going to top Willem Dafoe as Norman Osborn.
Yeah, the only other person that I've seen, because I've actually seen concept art of it, and I actually really dig it. And this might throw you for a loop, but Matthew McConaughey for Norman Osborn.
Huh.
Because I think he could easily play the suave businessman side of Norman Osborn, but then he easily has the acting chops to pull off like a maniacal fucking villain.
For sure.
So I kind of want to see that.
Imagine if they had Bradley Cooper do it and he's playing two characters in the MCU.
Which isn't unheard of.
No, it's not.
Because they already have multiple people playing multiple characters. Now, as of right now, they're mostly like side characters. Like you have like Star-Lord's mother. She played that. Essentially, they kind of wrote it to be like Star-Lord's like great grandmother or grandmother or something like that. The woman who got Captain America's autograph in Captain America 1 is the same actress played Star-Lord's mother. We also have now this is the one where it's gonna be a big character, or at least the main character in the Eternals coming up. One of the actresses, she was also in Captain Marvel. She was one of the Kree.
Oh, okay.
So that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But I mean, in Captain Marvel, she was also kind of a side character, but it's a side character becoming a bigger character. And also Shang-Chi coming up. Michelle Yeoh. She was seen as one of the Ravagers at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, and then she's going to be in Shang-Chi playing. I can't remember the name, like Jing Liang, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. So it's not unheard of for Marvel to recast people playing different roles.
But yeah, I think they're kind of setting up Sharon as like she's been a villain. I think she's been crooked this entire time, like ever since we met her.
Really?
Because like the movie we met her in was Captain America: The Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Which is where they expose the corruption of Hydra. It runs deep through S.H.I.E.L.D. So we meet Sharon. She does something and then ends up on the run. I put "on the run" in quotation marks. She basically outs herself as an enemy of the state so that she can go to another country and not get outed as the power broker or as a Hydra agent. I think she may have been there spying on Steve from the get-go.
Interesting. So you're saying like she's been like a double agent this entire time? Basically,
that's how I'm seeing it. Like the more I look back at all the things that we see with her, and how quickly she adapted to life in Madripoor as like an arms dealer, an art thief, like selling originals of priceless art that you can't find. Like she adapted really quick because it wasn't really that long.
Damn, yeah, that's
do all that stuff, and she had such a big operation and such a reputation that she was feared. Nobody gets that kind of reputation in 5 years.
Yeah.
So she's been building that secret name as the power broker for a long time.
Well, actually, no. Yeah, you're right, because even Zemo had stated. So okay, Zemo stated that he was aware of the power broker existing long before he was even captured in Civil War.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big one.
Damn, the things are unfolding. And that would be a neat way to kind of sort of play up on the fact that I know in the comics, in the original Civil War, she was like brainwashed and assassinated Captain America. So that'd be kind of like a neat way to kind of play up the fact that, yeah, in the comic books, she was also bad at one point.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back on track. Ultimately,
Yeah.
Carly and her band of goons are defeated.
Mm-hmm.
Sam gets his first win as Captain America, and
Yeah.
he gets to deliver this really, really heartwarming monologue about how we need to do better, we need to be better. He basically points to the senators and says, "This is your fault.
Mm-hmm.
The ideas that you put in place created people like Carly, and if you don't change and you don't do better, more people like her or worse are gonna come."
Yeah. No, and I feel like that's something
what's going on in America.
Exactly. That, like, I feel like everything that was said between Sam and the congressmen and women, that needs to be said here, like straight up to DC right now. Like,
yes,
shit needs to be fixed.
Yeah. I saw a video earlier that kind of opened my eyes a little bit. They were saying that the 3 versions of Captain America that we got were the 3 different versions of America. Steve Rogers' Captain America is the ideal America that we aspire to be, the America that we think we are. John Walker's Captain America is the harsh truth that we're not as good as we think we are, or the America that we actually are. And Sam Wilson's Captain America is the America we need to be, the America we need to move into.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it was very well put. And I reference him a lot. Strawhead Goofy. He's the one that presented that idea. He's on TikTok. He's a fantastic creator. He does a lot of Marvel breakdown stuff as well.
Yeah, no, that's an excellent way to put it. I could not have put that better. And that was easily tearjerker moment for me.
Yeah, I started crying during this monologue for sure.
Yeah, because it like really spoke out to me, like how, like it's true. We need to change from the highest levels of our country. And it really speaks out to something that I've been bothered with over the past few years, especially as someone who works for the US government. One where there are moments where I look at this country, I'm just like, fuck this, you know?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, you can still love your country. Like, it's not a problem with the country, it's a problem with the people who are running it. And we need to speak out to them and make sure that our voices are heard, and make sure that, you know, we have a say in what happens with this country, and we move towards a better cohesive unit. So I think that's where I was just like, oh fuck, he's right. Please do something. I was just like, I wish we had Sam Wilson as Captain America in real life. I was just like, damn, we really need someone like him.
We need that. America needs that for real.
Yeah. Let's see, we kind of touched on a lot of everything that happened after that, other than the fact that the rest of the Flag Smashers got smashed
by Zemo. Zemo was
yeah.
We're gonna take care of the problem now.
Yeah. So yeah, Zemo definitely had the last laugh there. Which correct me if I'm wrong, but Carly wasn't in that caravan, was she?
No, she was in the ambulance.
Okay. So
Sam brought her down like Archangel style, of like,
yeah,
floated down carrying her like that painting in like the end of that one Batman game. It's
so
a
I'm wondering,
painting. I can't remember the name of it though.
Do you think they're gonna keep her dead?
No, I think she's gonna end up at the raft, and she's gonna get she's either gonna have some experiment done on her, or she's gonna get intercepted by Ross, and she's gonna become Flag Smasher.
The Flag Smasher.
Right, because all the other Flag Smashers are gone.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Be the only singular Flag Smasher.
Yeah, that's where, because like we had touched on the fact that in the comic books, Flag Smasher was a singular character. Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see if they were to actually bring that to fruition. Now moving forward,
it's definitely a nugget they could save in their back pocket for like a Thunderbolt or a Dark Avenger storyline.
Yeah.
In the future, so they have that option.
It's amazing too. Like at this point, like kind of like looking back on everything, now we kind of see a lot of the things like, oh, they could easily set that up in the future. They could easily set, like, cause like now it's past the point where, you know, something comes up and like, oh wait, back in, you know, 2008, this movie already established that, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So now we're actually like keen-eyed to see if, oh, they could totally do something with this, which I think is kind of fun. But yeah, so moving forward, Isaiah Bradley finally gets the recognition he deserves.
Tearjerker moment number 2, man.
Yeah. That made Jackie cry. She was like, oh, she's like, oh my god.
The whole exhibit, man. Like, he finally gets recognized for the work that he's done, and Sam was able to do that for him without outing him as being alive, and I think that was amazing. He wanted to do something, and the fact that he could bring that information out to the world without ruining the fact that he's basically dead was great, because then Isaiah can keep his life and move forward, but with
knowing that people still know his story.
Right, with a sort of sense of redemption, a little bit of a light shine on what happened to him.
And not just him, everyone else that was subject to those experiments.
Yeah. Yep.
God. Yeah, it's yeah, well, because like it sucks too, because it was like, it almost felt as though it was like heavy moment after heavy moment, you know? Like that whole like second half was just like, oh man, oh god, you know, the entire time. And then finally at the very end, we get family time with the Wilson family and all of their little community.
And I'm gonna say it now. Bucky Barnes is invited to the cookout.
Yes, Uncle Buck.
He fits in 100%. Like, he just kind of walks in, carrying food, socializing with everybody, and it looks like a nice family situation that Bucky is included in. And I think that was a very subtle but great moment for his character, because he's been alone for most of the show, and for most of the time, he was either like isolated in Wakanda, or on the run by himself, or in a cell. Like,
oh, you know what? That reminds me. Tearjerker moment number 3, Mr. Nakajima.
Yeah.
We finally get that part wrapped up.
Yeah.
He finally admits.
About his son.
That was heavy.
Well, when he gave his therapist the book and said, "I finished it."
Yeah.
Crossed off every name.
Yeah.
Like,
he can finally get back to being him.
Yeah, he can move forward. He can finally get to a point where he can move forward with his life. He doesn't have to be the Winter Soldier anymore. And I think that's where they'll start to explore when they do a season 2 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, or Captain America and the Winter Soldier. It'll be the growth of Bucky, and I think that'll be a great follow up to the show.
Yeah. That was just the icing on the cake that is this series. It was very well done. Definitely bringing us back to more traditional MCU vibes. Whereas, you know, WandaVision was definitely a roller coaster ride. Where this one felt very, very true to MCU style, and what I feel like we can expect from most of the MCU properties. Now, I feel like Loki coming up next is going to be kind of a little bit more bonkers, similarly to WandaVision. So I kind of don't. I mean, I like it, but I'm just like, damn it, Marvel, why you gotta like play with me like that. You're like, oh, things are getting crazy. Things are getting crazy. Okay, let's simmer down a bit. Let's simmer down. Oh, it's gonna get crazy again.
Yeah, they're kind of back and forth with us all the time. Like we don't know which way is up half the time.
Yeah, but I'm definitely excited. We got Loki coming up. When does that? So we have actually Black Widow coming out first, right? And
Yeah,
then
Black Widow
Loki.
comes out in May. Loki comes out it premieres in June. So Black Widow is going to be released in theater and on Disney Plus
Premiere Access. Yeah.
So I think that's gonna be one that I might make a Christmas theater for. 'Cause I did make a Christmas theater for Mugen Train, and that was phenomenal.
Yeah, so I think we're probably gonna do the same. I think first, after learning about Raya and the Last Dragon that Disney put out, so I learned that. So I'm half Thai, and I learned that Raya the Last Dragon references a lot of elements of Southeast Asia, exclusively Thailand. So I'm like sitting here like, yo, hold up, we got a Thai Disney princess. My daughter needs to see that. And Jackie just got her first shot today, so we might actually venture out to see if it's still in theaters. I don't know. I don't know the time frame for movies in theaters nowadays. Are they keeping them in?
Still in theaters, but I went to get tickets from Mugen Train. So
okay,
they were doing like limited showings, like 1 or 2 showings a day.
Okay, so we'll have to look into that, and then we definitely want to go see Black Widow. So I think we're finally moving in the direction of, you know, what life was before COVID. Which is nice to see.
It is nice to see.
So how about you? How are things going for you as far as vaccinations go?
We're still waiting for our appointments. We were supposed to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Oh yeah.
Through Giant Food, and they pulled it, and we were just like, okay. And then they opened everything up for basically everybody 16 and older, and we just haven't been able to find an appointment yet. So once we get scheduled, we'll have our vaccinations.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
So yeah, that pretty much wraps up the show for tonight. Did you have any last words?
No. We covered everything exactly like I wanted to.
As it was planned. As if we have an actual plan. I think we're the fact that I had jumped into Apex with you guys right before kind of threw me off there a bit. I think that's why the intro was so muddled. But let's see if I can do right by this outro. So thank you guys for joining us today. Tune in next week here on YouTube as we will break down season 1 of Invincible on Amazon Prime Video. I'm gonna get in touch with Mormon, make sure he is available for that. He said he might be out of town, so we might have to do a little, like, maybe see if he has Discord on his phone, something along the lines there. But we will be covering Invincible. It is getting insane. I caught up. I realized I was like 2 episodes behind, or a little bit, just a little less than 2 episodes behind. I got caught up this weekend, and holy shit,
the show is bonkers.
It is insane. But if you haven't watched Invincible yet, go ahead, get caught up, because we will be wrapping that up next week. If there are any topics you'd like to see us cover on this channel, please leave a suggestion in the comments down below. And if you enjoy what we're doing here and you want to support us, do the old song and dance, and please like, share, and subscribe. Also, both Jagger and I stream on Twitch. We will have the Twitch links down in the description below, as well as popping up below our beautiful faces here. So yeah, if you're watching the recording on YouTube, I hope you guys have a wonderful night. And if you're watching live and you would like to continue to hang out, I will be hosting the Comic Relief Post Show on twitch.tv/Xndr in roughly 5 to 10 minutes. So yeah, bye-bye.
Bye.